UIDAI Aadhaar, Mr. Rick Sharma and Mr. Aditya Pal. Aditya Pal happens to be project manager and Rick Sharma is very close friend of us. He sits with us all the time to handle all issues while seeding. Under this NERSAT program, we started seeding Aadhaar and we have so far collected 32 crore Aadhaar numbers to be mapped with. We are a big user of their bulk authorization tool. We are a big user of very other tools that they are offering. And I must really thank Aadhaar Group and particularly DG Aadhaar because they have really taken step forward in helping us in every step. Please go ahead with your small presentation. I request for sticking to time only.
Sure, definitely. I think Pramod has covered a lot of things in the morning session. So in the last minute, we need to cut short some of the things because he has already covered a lot of things. So definitely it will be short.
Thank you so much for the kind words, sir. And we would be coming remote voting using Aadhaar-based authentication. So we'll just be giving you some overview how exactly Aadhaar was formed in the year 2009. What is the uniqueness? It's the biometric attributes are the uniqueness of it, the fingerprint and the iris. We have already enrolled 88 crore Aadhaar numbers till date, and the adult population saturation is around 90%. The services offered by Aadhaar is authentication and eKYC, and we almost do 10 crore transactions per day in 8 hours window. And since inception, we total 66 crores Aadhaar authentication has already happened. So as already told by Pramod Verma, Aadhaar is just a number. It's not a smart card. It's just a letter which comes to you by post, as well as you can actually download it from the net also via e-Aadhaar. It's a 12-digit number. It does not have any intelligence. It does not have any profiling. It is actually generated through Verof algorithm. The residents, all residents are entitled for Aadhaar, and even children, infants also can enroll for Aadhaar. The uniqueness of it, as I told you, is like it's biometric, fingerprint and iris. It does not guarantee for citizenship or for rights or any kind of entitlements. And the security and privacy and everything is maintained. The value propositions that we bring is uniqueness, financial address, authentication, and eKYC. And we'll be bringing up this on the slides. The uniqueness is its 12-digit number. Again, biometric, fingerprint, and iris is the uniqueness of it. It acts as a financial address also. All your subsidies also like LPG and all is like handled through NPCI. The department actually posts it through the NPCI. NPCI actually checks the Aadhaar number and tells the bank actually to transfer the subsidy and all. And I would request my colleague Aditya Pal to take it from here.
So Aadhaar is basically providing two primary services. One is the authentication service and other one is the eKYC service. Authentication is the one wherein along with Aadhaar number, some other information like demographic information or biometrics or OTP. So any of these factors or combination of these factors is passed on to UIDAI data center, and the response is given in the form of yes or no. So that authentication service is can be very well used to identify a person. So this is we have displayed here that along with Aadhaar, any of the information or a combination of these three information may be passed, and a response in yes or no may be received. Need for Aadhaar authentication, we have talked a lot about this. Even Pramod talked about this, that wherever you want to identify a person, authentication is required there, right? So if you want somebody to be authenticated for say ATM transactions, that can also be done, although I don't think it is being utilized at this point of time, but this can be done. For voting it can be done, for account opening it can be done, right? We are having multiple applications today which are making use of authentication services, and that is translating into the numbers, which is as of today around 25 to 50 lakh transactions, authentication transactions are happening as of today for various services like account opening or giving some ration to the residents of India. eKYC platform is again runs on top of the authentication service. So in eKYC, Aadhaar number along with biometric or OTP is given to UIDAI, and in return the basic demographic information along with photograph is shared in a digitally signed document. And for eKYC, demographic information is not the modality to do a eKYC. If you want to do eKYC, it has to be because that person's consent is required for getting this piece of information. So for eKYC, it has to be either biometric or OTP, right? And eKYC is again approved, or you can say accepted by many regulators like RBI, SEBI, IRDA, everybody, and many state governments have already accepted eKYC as a valid proof of identity and proof of address. So I think even Pramod also mentioned in his talk that many banks have developed the application and actually implemented in many of their branches, that you can walk into the branch along with just your Aadhaar number. No need to carry your Aadhaar card. You just walk in with your Aadhaar number, give your Aadhaar number, your biometrics on the device, and that eKYC information flows into the database through their central banking system, and then they generate the account, and immediately your account is open. And it is happening on the field as well. So many bank correspondents are having micro ATM machines that is connected with the bank central banking system, and even in the remote areas, people are getting their account open just with the Aadhaar number. So that is the power of eKYC. The benefit of Aadhaar seeding is in many applications or schemes, in many states there are possibilities that even the database is not digitized. So that database has to be digitized. If you want to see the Aadhaar, obviously we are in a digital platform, so that database has to be digitized, and it should be centralized, and centralized to the level where you want to implement that particular scheme. So if it is a scheme for a state, the database has to be centralized at a state level. If it is a national level scheme, it has to be centralized at the national level. Then enrollment. So all the beneficiaries should be enrolled with Aadhaar. That is another prerequisite of Aadhaar seeding. So UIDAI is always helping to those who want to integrate Aadhaar with their schemes, because ultimately Aadhaar enrollment is also, so one way was initially Aadhaar was a voluntary system, that people who were coming forward to enroll for Aadhaar, that was one. But then the second step, how Aadhaar enrollment has grown up so fast, is because of the various uses of Aadhaar. So whenever there is a new application integrates with Aadhaar, we see a jump in Aadhaar enrollment. So when LPG subsidy will start, there lot many people will come and enroll for Aadhaar. So we always have a provision for targeted enrollment. So if any scheme, state, or any application wants to utilize Aadhaar and they want all their beneficiaries to be enrolled, we have a targeted enrollment setup. We can set up specific enrollment centers for them, provide a setup for them, and enroll those beneficiaries on a priority basis. And the last one is that database should have a provision to include Aadhaar number or enrollment ID. In case somebody has just enrolled for Aadhaar and Aadhaar number is not yet generated, even the enrollment number can be seeded at that time, which can later be replaced by Aadhaar number. Approach for seeding is very simple, I would say. There are two things. One, you have a set of database already, and UID is also having a set of database. With the primary key, you can match these two database along with some other information like name, some set of information like name, date of birth, gender, or PIN code, for example. So these are some fields which you can match, and if these two things match, you can simply seed that Aadhaar number, which can later be further verified or at the time of delivery of any service. And then the second method is you collect Aadhaar numbers of all the individuals and then verify them. So this is the first example. For match and verify, you are simply matching the two databases and doing the seeding. The numbers may not be very high in this case, because as we discussed it earlier as well, that there are a lot of issues in the naming system in our various records. So I might have a different name in my driving license and a different name, not different name, but a different spelling in say voter card. So similarly, we have seen that there are gaps wherein name in Aadhaar is different and name in other database is different. And so this kind of seeding fails when you do exact matching. And again, it depends that depending on your kind of service and level of matching, you need to decide that what kind of you need exact matching or partial matching, or you want to do some fuzzy logic on matching. The next thing is collect and verify. So you need to, for doing the seeding, you also need to collect Aadhaar number of the beneficiaries. And for collection of Aadhaar, there are various modes which can be used to collect Aadhaar numbers. Different kind of applications or different kind of setups may use different options. So for example, banks may have a liberty that they have lot of presence in their area, so they can collect, because customers generally walk into the bank, customers do walk in at their ATM location. So they can use drop boxes, they can make use of SMS, web portal, they can make use of IVRS, CAM code or door to door. So these are various ways of collection of Aadhaar. And then we have verification of once you have collected the Aadhaar numbers, then there are verification tools and different services being provided by UIDAI. One of the things is Varrof algorithm. Varrof algorithm may be used as a first check while you are entering the Aadhaar number of a resident in your application. Varrof algorithm can check whether the number has been entered correctly or not. Because not every 12-digit number can be an Aadhaar number. So there is an algorithm behind that. So it gives you a first level check at the time of entering the Aadhaar number. Probably operator entry mistake can be avoided at this time. Then we have bulk demographic authentication, wherein as I told that you can match the data based on different fields, say name, date of birth, pin code, etc. and match it with the Aadhaar database. If it matches correctly, then you see it. Then you verify it. Otherwise, you can use other methods. The next one is AEO service, or better to say authentication service, wherein whenever there is a contact with the beneficiary, for example, in case of ration distribution, any person would walk to the ration shop for ration collection every month, once or twice. At that time, you can authenticate that person biometrically. If it matches, then at that time you can seed into your database. Similarly, KYC services can be used. And DSDV is another application which we developed especially for seeding purpose only. It was actually developed during this DBT module, and that is how we named it DSDV, DBT seeding data wherein by entering the Aadhaar number or UID number, UID gives this facility only to selected agencies who are already associated with UIDI. They can, by entering the UID number or enrollment number, they can just view the demographic details of the person in a pop-up window. That is a read-only window. You are not supposed to store it anywhere in your database. So the operator can, at that time, by seeing the details, operator can decide whether this person is the same as in the beneficiary database or not, and based on that he can seed the beneficiary. Next, again, we don't want to go into how remote voting should be done. I think there has been a lot of talk about that. But Aadhaar can be leveraged simply for identifying the person. This is what all we want to say, that what you need to do is probably you need to collect the Aadhaar number with the EPIC number, verify using various UID authentication tools, seed the Aadhaar number with EPIC database, confirm registration for remote voting, and authenticate with Aadhaar at the time of voting. There are some prerequisites. You need to develop an application for pre-registration, and I don't want to go on all these things. I think we have discussed all 2 days these things. Advantages of using Aadhaar is, I would say that it will help in removing the duplicates and you can authenticate anytime and anywhere. Data integrity can also be verified using audit trail because it is maintained, not at the application level, but we know that that whatever transaction has happened, it has happened from each entity. So that audit trail is available. That's all from our side. Any questions? Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Purus from NIC. Actually, I have two questions. The first question is from Mr. Shukla. Actually, regarding this Aadhaar seeding in the electoral roll, as you mentioned, the electoral roll is basically a public document. So, is the Aadhaar number going to be visible on the electoral roll fully or partially or what? That was my first question to you.
Yes, please. See, we are seeding Aadhaar in our database not for the purpose that Aadhaar would be printed on our ticket card and being distributed. We are nobody to publish this Aadhaar number because that is a separate authority, that is their job. We are just trying to collect this Aadhaar number for purification purposes for our internal operation. So this number will never be published on a public document. A public document as EPIC document, what we publish is going to be our electoral roll without photographs on web and with photographs to only political parties. So as per law that will be done. Aadhaar number, again I repeat, is being collected and is being seeded for purification purposes so that we would come to know. See, what has happened over a period of time is people have written their names in different ways, and one person shifts to another location, forgets to cancel the original location, and we are having some data which is not a verifiable data. We are having certain processes in place. We are trying to do our best, and we are sure that we won't have much of difficulty in handling without Aadhaar also. We thought that since that is available, why not to have it? And a scientific dreamful concept, what we had in mind was, in India we have three big databases. One is our electoral roll database, which is age-old database, but it has a limitation of 18 plus record. Second one is this Aadhaar data. After having this Aadhaar authority coming up, they started collecting it and they have progressed very well. And the third database is our census data. What they wanted to create thereof was NPR, National Population Register Record. These three are gigantic databases. If you look at, every database has a typical USP attached to that. Every database to be used for election purposes has date of birth because 18 plus year is to be certified. The address because constituencies are to be fixed with respect to that. Relation because we want to put a family tree in a place so that we can, while delimiting and while finalizing polling station, we should be in a position to take care of that part. So this much data which is authenticated, enumerated data, our BLOs visit, collect the data, verify and then bring it. That is the enumerated database we have. That is the USP of it. But it started some 20 years before where we started collecting photographs. That time photograph technology was slightly different. So quality of photographs are not good in some cases. We want to update that record as well. And that's why we thought that it would be a better concept to attach all these databases together, and that's why seeding of Aadhaar and seeding with TIN numbers of NPR we have started with, and that is what is the. So we are not publicizing any Aadhaar number onto our public document.
My concern was of the privacy part only. I think that you have answered. My second question was to UIDAI. This authentication service, it automatically gives a automated mail which says that a person has been authenticated. Can that mail be controlled? In the sense, there are complaints. I am actually connected with the attendance portal of people complaining that they are getting too many mails. So is this facility, can it be discontinued of the authentication mail being sent every time a person is being authenticated?
Yes, we are in the process of giving this control to the user, that how and when they want this notification to be for them on mobile or on email address and all.
Right.
We are in the process of doing it already.
It will be given online to the
Yes.
UID.
Yes. It will be through OTP for the users.
Good evening all. I'm Shivaraman from MIC. I have a nested question. What's the time frame from UID to UID for this 88 code? I'm specific about that algorithmic search, that execution time.
Sorry, please come again.
From EID to UID generation, what would be the approximate time frame for this 88 crores of Aadhaar existing, a new EID to UID generation, specifically for this biometric algorithmic execution? Any idea?
So actually, at the end of the enrollment, let's say if I go and enroll myself at the center, so there's a packet which is being generated, and later on it is being actually checked by the supervisor also. First, the operator is actually looking into it, and then the supervisor is actually checking it. Then there's a complete, the packet is being uploaded, and later on there's a complete process which we are also not very much aware of, and it gets checked at the back end. So the complete timing is 3 months. So in case your Aadhaar number is not generated, you don't receive a card, or you check through your enrollment ID on the website and all, it is not generated, probably we request everybody to go again and enroll themselves after 3 months. So the duration is 3 months, but much lesser than that you actually receive your Aadhaar card.
Even 3 months is, I would say, the maximum time.
Yeah, how the time is?
Generally, it is between 2 to 4 months. As we sometimes we see that there are a lot of enrollments happening, and the quality check may take some more time. But it is generally between 2 to 4 weeks.
Why I posted this question is, the timeline varies from state to state in my experience. Say for example, state of Goa where I am there, right now it is within a 6 days EID to UID is being generated, whereas for bigger state it takes, as you said, 2 months to 3 months. So whatever the case, your execution time should be common for irrespective of the state population, things like that, if you are validating across all the 88 crores. So this is my first question. And my second question is, if at all, if it is being validated across all the 88 crores, okay, and if you are doing it in a batch, assume that you may be doing it in a batch level, that means in a batch it's been going on, and say some 10,000 records has been validated, another 10,000 is going on, so in a pipe it's keep on going, it's a continuous kind of thing. So during this particular pipe, there are possibilities that the first person, and at the end some may be the same person, so he may pass through the test because he is not enclosed as the UID. You got my question? That means if you are doing it, because if you do it one by one, that means one EID validated across 88, then complete this, then take the next, it takes longer time. Okay, much longer time than this particular period. So you may be doing it in a parallel processing kind of thing with the batch time.
Can I request you to shorten your
Yes,
question?
sorry. Okay, so that's what my point here is there a possibility that say one person can get 2 Aadhaar?
Cross-checking of database also happens. So at the time of your Aadhaar generation, there is a matching with all the existing Aadhaar numbers, right? So even if it gets through one, at the time of generation, if it is coinciding at the same time, there is a possibility that one person gets 2 Aadhaar. But in due course, maybe in a week or 2 weeks or some time, that will get again checked, and in that case, that Aadhaar will be suspended or cancelled. Right, so there is a continuous quality check happens as well.
That means you are carrying out duplicating among the generated UID.
Exactly. Thank you.
So, thank you very much.
So just one question.
Yeah, sure.
My name is Surya Krishnamurthy. I come from State Election Commission, Maharashtra. Out of the 32 crore Aadhaars that you have been collected, how many have actually been verified using DSGD?
It's something Shukla sir would be able to answer, because
So far we have been conducting using DSGV because update or addition to our electoral roll legally is the right we have given to our EROs only. And we wanted to collect this Aadhaar number first. We collected. We are going through bulk authorization first in 100% match, not less than 100% match over the name of person as written in our record, not that too not in Aadhaar. So if my name is V.N. Shukla written in EPIC record and my number I am giving it to Election Commission office, then Election Commission office is taking this number plus my name as per electoral roll record and giving it for authorization, in bulk authorization to Aadhaar database. And after getting the answer as yes, we are keeping that particular record separate. We are reducing the time of seeding, because appropriate seeding would have been my ERO opening a window, looking at EPIC database, looking at Aadhaar database through DSDV, mapping them properly, finding correct, seeding that particular part. Not finding the same, rejecting that particular part. That should have been the actual case, but it would take years together. To shorten this time, we are using bulk authorization presently. Second constraint that Aadhaar put on us was they wanted every IP of a PC being used by ERO to be whitelisted. And our machinery is rather very gigantic machinery. We are using Wi-Fi connectivity at many places. Our connectivity map, footprint of connectivity map all over India is, everybody knows how it is actually. So because of this constraint, we were not in a position to use these DSDB services at ERO level, and we requested Aadhaar authority. They have given us a tool just 2 weeks before, which we have validated and we have put it in our tool, and we are going to launch that particular tool with the approval from the Commission, of course. I'm going advance. I should have taken a permission from Commission first. We are going to start that activity from 29 July onwards. Our target is to complete 32 crore record what we have collected, out of which some 9-10 crore we are expecting it to be authenticated at a bulk authentication level, and then we are going ahead with that kind of a DSDV tool. Our target is by year end we should be in a position to seal everything completely. But one second. But the second thought what we have, since we are collecting Aadhaar number in person from people and people are giving their Aadhaar number to us, why should we doubt? So we are putting some quasi-seeding condition before seeding. So as he indicated in double Aadhaar number generation case that they are re-verifying, whatsoever number people have given with their signature on piece of paper to our BLO, we will consider it as a quasi-seeded, and then we will put that particular number in our database in one field, and eventually we will convert it to a seeding part. That is how we are going ahead.
Thank you.
And I think another good thing in favor of Election Commission is that while UIDAI collected data, records or say address proof from the residents for Aadhaar generation, I would say roughly 25 to 30% people have given their voter card as proof of address. So I think that matching will be much more in case of Election Commission.
But what happened was in our client in UIDAI, you did not capture the number at the time of enrollment. The card was given, you took a photocopy, and it was kept as DMS for documentation purpose. But in no case was the number actually entered in the client, so you don't have an electronic match. In the client, you don't capture the number.
I agree, but in some cases like in Kerala, they have maintained that record, they have digitized that particular record as well. So we have been able to seed the Kerala data very fast, because EPIC number taken for booking Aadhaar, getting EID and converting it to UID was done through EPIC number. The database was there. Now we have a EPIC number, we check our record, we have Aadhaar number, we check the record and it is there. So seeding is quite easy. For Kerala it was systematically done, so it is good reality.
Thank you.
Proceed.
Thank you. Thanks everyone.